In our episode we shared earlier this week, I talked with Jim Harris about how a spinal cord injury left him partially paralyzed, and then how 8 months into his recovery, he regained some lost sensation and movement after taking psilocybin at a music festival. When we recorded, we talked for a long time, right up to when his window of availability was closing. But as I wrapped up and got ready to say goodbye, Jim said, "Can I ask you a few questions?" And it was interesting to hear what he was wondering about after I'd asked him so many questions for such a long stretch. So we kept talking, and we thought we'd share that with you too. What are you wondering?
Anna, you are so good at this kind of perspective taking interview style. It kind of feels like there's almost two different skills that come through in the way that you listen and ask questions. And one of those skills is this very deep kind of emotional empathy, but then also at the same time, kind of running in parallel, is very cognitive empathy, where you're asking a question, refining whatever preconceptions you had about me or whoever else you're interviewing, and then using that to make a more refined sort of model that you're using to update the next questions. And I'm curious, how you think about that skill. Has that always been something that's come really naturally for you? Or is that and how have you cultivated it?
I think that's I've never thought of it in quite that way. And I really appreciate you giving me words for my model. I think that's right. I think that you also observed when we were talking, the downside of my model, which is I'm scratching for the narrative thread. And
Yes,
so I think that that's maybe the way that it's becomes an artificial product, because obviously our narrative threads are, as you said, more multitudinous than one can recount. But I guess the skill is, how do I practice? I think it's just I think this is the thing that I like to do most in the world. It's to try to really understand, at my, it's always limited, but to try my very best to kind of be able to kind of understand what someone is describing in an embodied way. I want to I want to understand the moments of transition, and I want to see the scenes.
Yeah. I can see that thread in the people that you interview or in the things that you ask in your interviews.
Yeah. No, it's just practice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like it's something you had an enduring interest in, and then a lot of
but
on-the-job
I
training.
feel like the world of psychedelics, totally it's wild to me, because I'm what? Because I'm 43. The rest of this conversation is available exclusively to Slate Plus subscribers. Subscribe now by clicking Try Free at the top of the Death, Sex, and Money show page on Apple Podcasts, or you can visit slate.com/DSM Plus to get access wherever you listen. By subscribing to Slate Plus, not only will you unlock this episode, you'll get access to all your favorite Slate podcasts, all ad-free, and you'll be supporting the work of our team. Thank you so much.